Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. My name is Gavin Grant. By show of hands, how many of you have heard of Greyhound Racing? So everyone. And how many of you have been to a race in person? Most of you.
Speak up.
And how many of you have know how it started or how it became what racing is today? So very few, if any of you. According to the Greyhound Racing Association of America, when the first racetracks opened, they were able to attract thousands of guests each night. Over the last 100 years, the sport has grown and become more competitive with 46 operating tracks in 15 different states. Through my research, I've learned much about the sport's history, as well as how it became the sport that it is today. Greyhound racing was derived from a very competitive and violent sport, boomed within the U.S. during the Great Depression, and has become an extremely thrilling sport today. Greyhound racing was derived from a very violent sport known as coursing. Coursing is a hunting sport that involves all different kinds of dogs chasing a live hare across an open field. And if the dogs catch the hare, they get points for the competition. The American Kennel Club says that coursing has been seen in the Egyptian tombs with images of the long-eared hounds chasing hares across the field. However, this often meant the death of the hare, since once the dogs caught them, they would usually kill them on the spot. Until a man by the name of Owen Smith tried to bring coursing to his hometown of Hot Springs, South Dakota in 1904. When he first presented it to the public, they thought it was very violent and disturbing. However, he still believed that a greyhound sport would do very well if it could be tamed into a more humane version for the public to enjoy. Finally, after 12 years of his development and experimentation with concepts of a mechanical lure, in 1919 he opened the first greyhound racing track in Emeryville, California. Smith had successfully taken a sport that he found fascinating and turned it into a more humane version for the public to enjoy. Greyhound racing boomed within the U.S. prior to the Great Depression. After Owen Smith developed his racing lure and opened the track in California, he began traveling the country to open new tracks in different states. Even though the racing kept expanding and becoming more popular, it still wasn't seen as a main attraction. Many people would just stop and watch a race on their lunch break or going home from work. This caused issues, though, when the Riverview Kennel Club opened in Chicago. The racetrack held races every afternoon, and it grew to the point where workers would go on their lunch break and stay through the rest of the day and wouldn't return to work. Eventually those businesses lobbied successfully to have the track shut down in order for their workers to return to their shifts as they were supposed to do. In The Reign of the Greyhound, a book by Cynthia Brannigan, she describes how in 1925 the Miami Kennel Club was the first to host night races with stadium lights, and it immediately took hold. Instead of hosting greyhound races in parking lots or between horse races, they could now be a main event for families to attend on weekend nights. Once the Great Depression hit, however, the stadiums closed in the 1930s. And today there's only one track that has been continually operating since its opening in 1925, and that's the St. Petersburg Kennel Club in Florida. Greyhound racing has developed into an extremely thrilling sport today, as many of you know. Greyhound racing started out as an idea by Owen Smith, who wanted to create a humane competition where people could witness the true speed of a greyhound. When it was first started, a typical day of races consisted of about 15 dogs total, and they would only race head-to-head in a bracket format. But today it's much larger, as typically there are 8 or more dogs in a single race, and the dogs don't race more than one race in a single day. In order to manage such a large amount of races, the Greyhound Racing Association of America was created to regulate the races across the country. According to their website, their mission is to promote, protect, and enhance the sport of greyhound racing and the greyhound industry through education, example, and media for the benefits of its members, fans, supporters, and the greyhound racing dogs that make this great sport possible. The association regulates all races, and strict racing rules are upheld during every competition. Spectators can attend the races, many with free admission, and pari-mutuel betting is allowed and encouraged. Greyhound racing is a fast and competitive sport that can be seen in many different states across the country, starting off by trying to develop a humane version of coursing. The greyhound racing soon became a very popular attraction. Since the decline during the Depression, greyhound racing has bounced back and today is still very exciting and a heart racing sport.